is honestly just not worth their time right now. We have a $20 million tournament coming up here. I've had the privilege to be a part of like a couple other esports, and like fighting games, for example, is something that I really enjoy because it's like very grassroots, and the community is like they're very kind to each other, and they care about new players, and they care about everything. And it's one thing that they said is like, those guides and stuff are so important because people just don't understand how big of a difference there is between a casual player and a professional player.
Yeah, I think those guides, some of the guides that I've seen in the past in the FGC have been phenomenal guides where they've really broken things down to frame rates, for instance, which, when you watch as a casual, maybe you watch Tekken or you watch DOA or you watch Street Fighter or whatever, they won't even understand that there's a frame rate issue within the animations of the characters that actually are taken into account by the pro players to figure out whether they should throw a move or not. And that's really high level stuff, right? But you don't need to know that to play the game. It's still very accessible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pick up and play. Anyone can
Dota's tough. I've always been a big fan of the game being more simplified, which is why I was like a little kind of hesitant about the talents because it seemed like just another complexity to add to Dota. I feel like they add all these new items. And
do you think actually in some ways though they might simplify that because they are a little bit more easy to understand?
Talents are great, shrines are great, bounty runes are great because they're candy. The players are like, oh, I'm going to walk across the whole map. I'm going to pick up this bounty rune and get 60 golden experience. I'm doing something. When it's terrible. It's terrible. Gank, pull, get a last hit maybe, but it makes them feel good and it makes the game fun. And that is one really good thing about it is that you can play Dota any MMR and you feel like you're having a great epic game even though you're terrible.
Yeah.
That's really important. So that part of Dota is good. But for the players that do want to get better and sometimes get a little too frustrated, it's easier to go play something else that you only have a couple skills and straightforward ultimates and stuff like that. Okay,
Peter mentioned that we haven't had many new players over the years, and a lot of the players that were here 10 years ago are still here.
Yeah.
But the ones that we have had come through, particularly in the last 2 years, Samael being one of them, coming straight off the Pubstar circuit, if you like, Anna's come through, Miracle's come through, SCC's come through. We've started to see the players come through. Are we not tapping into their knowledge as to how they got where they got? Is it not an inspirational story to find out?
They're too busy winning millions.
Well, they are, but there's no harm in doing a ghostwriting piece with them, is there?
I mean,
and finding out how they did it.
Those players definitely make guides and stuff, but it's still those players are still working to catch up because everybody else has been playing for 10 years, and they're just coasting along, kind of getting better. But these other guys have to like gain 1,000 MMR and continue to accelerate after that, which is a very difficult thing. And at some point, those guys giving their knowledge is not what's going to make the average player better. The average player will get better if the in-game resources that are easily available are a little bit more direct. Maybe that might help, but there's
they
obviously so many things.
They also need to be charismatic enough to put that into words. Which
Absolutely,
is one of the hardest
parts.
That's true.
That's
I think we could you're probably right, Peter. We could probably make an hour's worth of podcast out of this, so we'll have to come back to this because the draft is well underway, and we are in the second phase. In fact, done the second phase. Man, it's Lena Lifestealer for MP. Nothing crazy so far, and the Magnus Rubik. A little bit of a change up.
Yeah, nothing too weird.
No. I mean, we've seen them play plenty of Rubiks. Not like it's brand new to them.
Honestly, I haven't seen too much Rubik. We've seen a couple of Rubiks this tournament. I think the hero's very, very good. He's got a level 10 GPM talent, which kind of takes him to like another tier of support for me because you just kind of naturally get your Blink Dagger without even getting last hits. And
sort of. I mean, it's only 60. It's really not much, but
it adds up.
It definitely adds up, yeah.
As long as you're not dying, your gold is increasing quite significantly. And he also, he does get a couple last hits here and there with Fade Bolt, just like defending towers. So from my experience playing the hero, you can get a relatively quick Blink Dagger, even without having like too good of a game.
MP have gone back for the Slardar. You've not been a big fan of the Slardar so far, have you?
Well, I don't think it's been paired correctly. I think that if you're going to pick this Slardar, you need to have some team fight behind you because that's the issue. I'm seeing Slardars jump in and then not really having the proper follow-up and the team fight's just being lost immediately after.
Well, that said, I like it here with Lifestealer. It kind of blows my mind that they were able to get that combo in some ways. They banned out Centaur and Batrider instead.
Maybe they've got a plan for it. There's definitely heroes that are good against it. I mean, Terrorblade's still in the pool. I've always liked Shadow Demon against that combo.
Yeah, SD obviously his disruption illusions are not as good, but the hero's still viable in certain situations.
Yeah, in the right game. Any hero. That's the great thing about Dota. In the right game, almost any hero can be viable.
That's what Wing showed us last year, I think.
Absolutely.
So, they have to deal with the Slardar. Lifestealer Bomb's definitely a big threat, but...
Slark can be very good. Nice and power target. Good versus Lifestealer and Slardar.
They 2 AoE stuns though. Is that really worth it? I don't know.
Could be tough, but he's one of the heroes that can kind of deal with that Lifestealer and Fest Bomb from Slardar.
Okay.
We saw Necrophos earlier from Liquid against EG.
That's true. Maybe Winter Wyvern, but I don't know if you want to do that against Lina.
Weaver's not too bad. He is susceptible to dying to that burst if picked off alone. He also doesn't work well with Empower. So
yeah,
bit of a strange pick, but going a different route with the Magnus.
Well, they had Artesian Weaver against the Lifestealer in that game, didn't they, earlier with EG?
Yeah, Weaver's really good against Lifestealer by himself. It's just he's vulnerable to the ulti combo.
Yeah, and he did die a lot early on, if I remember rightly, in that game. Got caught out a lot.
Definitely
but did come back and have a good game in the end. So
NP going for their pretty standard Beastmaster. MSS's Beastmaster is super good. Lots of good things to steal for Rubik, though, right now. I think he's pretty content with this game.
All things considered, I think NP's having a little more NP of a draft, which I think is good for them.
Yeah. It's definitely true.
Back to comfort.
Except for that Envy might be playing a Spellcaster mid.
Miracle
that doesn't sound
Timbersaw.
like him.
Yeah, I haven't seen Envy play Lina, which could be the hero, but they could also just play Lina support. That wouldn't surprise me too much.
Timbersaw's a great pick here. Can lane 1v1 versus Beastmaster decent. He's got good AoE, so he can clear Hawks and Boars and stuff. Pretty survivable too. Can have high armor, so he can do okay against Slardar Lifestealer combo.
He does okay.
There's 3 strength heroes. Like Timber's almost always going to be a good pick in those situations.
No, for sure. He can be very good here. There are some decent ways for them to deal with him, though. And he can die to Lifestealer Slardar. Like if he doesn't have those reactive armor charges built up, he can be bursted. But he's okay. Yeah, he can work well.
So there's still I don't think you picked Terrorblade here.
Kuroki's saving that support for last pick.
That's his move.
That's his thing.
I mean, it is important for supports to be effective against the heroes they're playing against, but I think your point is valid. Although I'd say their cores are pretty effective this game. I mean, maybe there's some Weaver weaknesses, but I think Weaver Timbersaw was completely fine.
Yeah, it's not too bad to take, like, in this situation, especially when they don't have last pick. They can, maybe they could have been worried about Timbersaw being banned. So they pick it, and then they let NP ban some random support, and then they can pick whatever's left for support. So if they really, really felt like they wanted that Timbersaw, it's not a bad 4th pick.
I don't know if this is consistent or not, but again, they've got Magnus, so it could be could be core. So maybe this is one of the reasons they always leave support last. It gives them the mind game potential.
Yeah, I forgot. We just saw the jungle Magnus who had more net worth than everyone on MP.
Yeah.
That was nice. So yeah, maybe we'll have another jungle Magnus.
Is Abaddon still in the game? He is.
Abaddon's still in the game, and then
okay. They go for
TA.
TA instead. Not a lot of damage over time from NP, so it could work out decently well. Minus armor to combo with Weaver. It's a Roche Vision as well with the traps, but obviously they can de-ward, but
definitely the jungle Magnus. So then there's going to be a Rubik Weaver lane somewhere.
Then they'll try to do Timbersaw Beast 1v1, I'm guessing, or I guess it's strength heroes all over the place. Doesn't really matter which way you do it. It'd probably work fine against the Lifestealer too.
Maybe
really.
you pick another support that can zone out the Timbersaw really well.
Nice.
They could do like Skywrath Mage. Could be cool with the Beastmaster. Roar into Skywrath ult.
It'd be okay, I guess. Templar solution. Or they could go
good versus Timber.
More greedy and pick Veno or something like that. Is that too crazy?
They could do Veno. He's not the best against Timbersaw and Weaver, but it could work. He's not bad against Weaver, I guess.
I feel like they'll keep Lina in the lane to help zone Timber, and then they'll just pick a different mid for Envy, is my guess here. So
yeah, Lina's not too bad at zoning Timber, I suppose, but
it's not great, but it's not bad. With like open wounds into Light Strike Array with Slardar occasionally showing up, I think it'll work.
Yeah, I don't think they want to be in that position where they have to have 3 heroes to zone the offlaner, especially when there's that jungler. I think that SVG on the Slardar is going to do similar things they did last game and kind of fall around the Magnus in the jungle. And hopefully this time they're able to put enough pressure on the other lanes so that Kuroki on the Rubik can't just show up and stop that.
So the last pick, Envy. Got a lane against Templar Assassin. It's got to be a right-click hero because he doesn't play anything else. And there it is.
Ooh.
The right clicks. Good mix of right-clicking and spellcasting. Actually, it's going to be really good against Weaver, really good against Timbersaw until they get like Lotus Orbs, stuff like that. It's going to be really effective in team fights.
Lotus Orbs and 4 staffs, which I don't.
Maybe Yules.
Yeah, something to. They need to save whoever gets roared during, because then they're going to roar and then they're going to global. So if they can save that person, then they should be just fine, I think.
Okay. Time to head into our final game of the night. It's a big one for both teams, as we've already said, with the league table the way it is right now. Liquid have saved themselves a chance to get into the top 2. Can they hammer it home and grab another 2 points? Let's find out as we head back to the commentary team of Odie, Pixel and Gods.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. And, well, we've just had the draft. Game 1 was crazy, to be a word to describe it as the least.
Yeah.
I mean,
unexpected.
Game 2, different stuff. Switching it up a little bit. MP, again, finishing with something a little bit different. This silencer coming out.
A bit more standard, I think. I'm up to the silencer, perhaps. We'll see where silencer goes, whether it's going to be a core, safe laner, mid, support. Could be a bit of anything, but I feel like MP as a whole, stronger lanes. That was where they kind of fell short in game 1, so could be an NB leaner, you know.
It could, and Liquid as well. They've got a fair few ways they could certainly mix around the roles. I mean, we know GH plays the Magnus. We saw it last game. It was very good.
Feels like it needs. The only other option is the full position Weaver, but without
people
a drow,
don't do that anymore.
Not really a thing.
No.
I think the question's more whether Matu plays safe lane Timber, or whether they do Timber like safe lane against the Beastmaster matchup with that matchup. It will be Matu on Timber, so not mind control. So it makes me think they will be running at safe lane, trying to get a pretty good 1v1 matchup. But core silencer, yeah.
Eternal Envy silencer. What a treat.
Yeah, Curse pretty good at breaking the refraction, at least early on in the lane stage. But definitely a good game for TA, one of the better heroes against Slaughter, Lifestealer bombs, because if you've got refraction up, you block a lot of that damage coming in.
Well, here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you never have 2 games like that in a row.
Not
you
usually.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't happen.
Well, the game 2, you're going to react and be like, this was a major reason why this happened. Let's make sure that
even if
you lose 2 games in a row, you want to make sure you don't lose for the same reason.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm adamant that we won't get that. We'll get a much closer match here.
So the MP fans can stop watching the replays from earlier today and
absolutely, they can stop putting that stomp of MP versus RGV on repeat, and they can get stuck back in, because we've got Jackie Mao on the silence, and we've got Naomi on the Lifestealer, and we've got SVG on the Slaughter. Avery Silverman ready to go.
Looking at the lanes, Lifestealer going down bottom, so Matu won't get perhaps the 1v1 matchup he wanted against Beastmaster. It's still a decent matchup. That's the thing where they wanted to put Matu, I think, and give more farm priority to the Timber than the Weaver, but he also doesn't really care so much about the matchup. While the Beastmaster's a good matchup, Lifestealer is also a good matchup for the Timber Sword. There's no real bad matchups for him in any lane at this point, other than if like a Silencer support was zoning him out with Glaives or something. But that's going to be a mid Silencer, so curious to see what MP's plan is going to be, how effective they can be at shutting down the GH jungle, or if SVG is just going to prioritize a bit more securing the lanes early on, because for now he is headed down bottom.
And I mean, considering this mid lane, how is it? You were saying you expect this to go between the 2?
I'm not totally sure. I haven't seen much Silencer versus TA. Like in my head, like Curse should be pretty good at breaking refraction. Mechanically, Miracle is like the play you'd expect to win, but that's some good damage. Has a salve, doesn't have refraction, so he can't just go too close.
Envy getting some full-on harassment in. Forcing Miracles here, yeah, very early salve here in the middle lane, and ready to go in again, just with these glaives. Yeah, now that level 2's hit, Miracle will have refraction, but even with that, straight off, Envy and himself taking a lot of damage. The creeps are moving in as well. Just have to be careful. Miracle looking to get the side blade hits. Won't be able to cancel the salve though. Envy does get lucky with being able to salve up, so vice versa. Miracle in turn gets aggressive.
Curious to see if Liquid respond to this aggro lane, because I feel like they wanted to give more farm priority to Matu, or at least give him a safe lane, good matchup, but he's being tri-laned. I don't imagine sending Rubik down there really changes all too much. It's not going to make the lane any easier, so Matu's probably just like, look, I'd rather just get solo XP than have a Rubik down here doing very little. And,
he is getting kept at his tower. This is a pretty rough lane for Matu, but the outcome is that the other lanes are going well.
Moving straight in onto MSS here. It will go for the immediate TP out, and it will be successful. Just towards the tower, of course. No need to go back to base, but does save himself from death. We saw in the mid lane, quite interesting enough, that the flow of the creeps ended up being it so. The Envy's being able to maintain a bit of a balance really behind his tier 1. So we've had at least one wave that Miracle's not been able to get any of his hands on. Of course, he's a TA. He's managed to make the most of that by just going straight to the jungle and picking up some camps. But this is, of course, going to mean that Envy will get a hell of a lot of farm in this mid lane. And we can see CS-wise 15 for 2, but the 5 for 1 because of the way the momentum had ended up in that middle.
Yeah, now it's the lane's even kind of pushing towards the tower. Miracle and TA isn't there for the time being, and Envy's got an arcane rune, a great rune to have for a silencer to throw spells.
Almost certainly spam Miracle out of the lane, really, with the curse and such.
Throws all his spells, start throwing glaives. Miracle already popped his shrine now, and has to be very careful because he's going to be walking to a side of this. Could be first blood.
Yeah, looks to be it with SVG having this wraparound. TPs will come through. Miracle does have the refraction back up, and they turn onto SVG. Miracle himself will get the first blood. Very nice turnaround. Perfect reaction from Kuro.
We weren't wrong, Owen. It was the first blood.
It was first blood. We meant Miracle was to get it all along.
Yeah. He had the follow-up refraction coming at a really good time. That's one of those plays where a lot of people may look at it. It's not like anyone, for a lot of players, be like, oh, he's a bit fortunate. Refraction came back up, but Miracle. He times that. He knows when that recast for refraction is going to be up, and it's a nice little bait from him. So Matu, who got aggro tri-lane to start, has suddenly found himself in a 1v1, which is going to be much better for him. But just giving the lifestealer that early CS advantage makes this lane a lot more manageable.
Top lane SVG has found GH here, and is going to go for a bit of a play. Mind Control is in the neighborhood. GH, of course, very close to the shrine. And yeah, SVG knows he can't really go full in, as the shrine will be more than enough to keep GH safe. And SVG himself maybe a little bit scared now. He's deep in enemy territory. He's worried about potential wraparounds. GH starts to head towards him, and it looks like, yeah, Miracle's not going to be coming over. So SVG he is A-okay.
Kuro the mid lane, since Miracle probably tells his team I can farm faster in the jungle. TA is actually an amazing jungler. It's one of the underrated aspects of this hero, and Miracle knowing fully well what he's capable of just says, look, in mid lane it's going to be empty. We're going to run Magnus in the top jungle. I'll take the bottom jungle. Haste rune at bottom will be secured by NP, preventing Miracle getting that dangerous rune.
We'll see if SVG can get anything done with it. Of course, just getting eyes on Miracle.
There's no real good heroes to gank.
I mean, Timberman's a hard one, isn't he? They've got rid of the crush and then not a lot of other control apart from the open wound slur.
All physical damage. TA's got refraction. Magnus is kind of jungling in a very safe place. Weaver's got an escape. Every lane is... It's a similar story to last game where Liquid have drafted these laners that can't really be... They can be pressured for sure, but they're not going to be able to be easily ganked or anything.
Dude, at least SVG's just trying to be a nuisance here for Miracle, but Miracle still picks up the CS. And
camp, you know.
He's going to be fine. But
yeah, it's just that. It's the minor nuisances, which these kind of things can add up, but ultimately if you're NP, you need to be coming out on top, which they are, like CS-wise.
Already this laning stage
is
a million times better than what we saw in Game 1.
I don't think it hasn't been dominated by them, even though they've got the top 3 CSs. There's a jungle Magnus who's getting farmed, so it's kind of like the trade-off. Liquid also got first blood, so considering they've got a jungler and they got first blood, I still say Liquid in a slightly better spot, at least here 5 minutes in. Miracle has been forced into the jungle a bit, but if anything, you're kind of looking at that like, well, that means Kuro's going to get faster 6 on Rubik. It's just greater farm and experience distribution for the Liquid side. It's going to be less kind of focused on one player being Miracle in the TA since he's not in the mid lane, but you're okay with this because you just know you'd rather Miracle get farmed than like the solo XP at mid lane if he's going to get pressured by a silencer.
Bottom lane, Matu bursting down now, he's fairly low. And as this lane has gone on, we saw at the start, as you mentioned, that tri-lane enabling Aoi to get the head start, but as soon as it's gone back to this 1v1, Matu pretty much closing the gap. So 7 CS in it, and in fact Aoi, once again, has to be so careful. We're seeing just the power that Matu can exert on this lane. Now he's 6, and now he's got the arcane boots.
This feels like SVG can't do much. G8's coming in top. This maybe another kill, but...
You have to be a little careful with this dive. Yeah, GH starting to take a lot of damage in return. The axes aren't going to connect. So GH will be fine. MSS does get brought down very, very low. Only has one more tango as well, so has to be very careful for a stage in this top lane.
Yeah, I feel like the toughest part right now for this game with MP is trying to find a use for this ladder. He's kind of roaming around, pseudo-contesting the jungle, but he's under-leveled. Doesn't really do. He's not really stopping the TA from jungling farming. He's leaked a bit of XP, blocked a camp, but it's too small of achievements of what he's getting done. It's not like he's majorly disrupting the TA. TA hasn't been shut down. TA is still farming and getting good item and gold progression. There's only a couple hundred net worth behind Eternal Envy, so it doesn't really feel like Slaughter's achieved too much because of the strong laners that Liquid have picked. Here we go, smoke gank, and I think Slaughter's probably made the call like, look, we need to do something with, I need a teammate. He needs a partner to make something happen, and Envy with the maxed out curse is going to be the...
But look where Matu's gone.
Yeah.
He's out of there.
And Miracle TP top as well. Miracle TP to the shrine, I believe, just to go farm the other jungle. He vacated his own jungle. Perhaps that smoke was scouted by
They've got two good wards. Yeah, they've got a lot of good vision. Liquid is. I'm pretty sure they must have seen it on the edge.
And even if you don't see the smoke, you see an empty lane. You're like, why is Silence not farming mid lane? He's not. We're not contesting his lane. We're not ganking him. Why would he leave the lane? And there's really one conclusion to come to, that he's made a move. He's looking to get aggressive and invade your jungle and find a kill with that Slaughter. So kind of good deductions from Liquid, whether they saw it or not. And they're going to dodge a bullet there. Envy getting a gank there.
Envy's got to be careful. There's a Weaver in the neighborhood as well.
GH doesn't have RP yet.
I mean, Envy is not going to be able to kill this, and he just goes to get himself straight out of there, and he will do.
Yeah. The skewer used defensively meant that he couldn't cancel the TP.
Top lane 1437 though, bursted down by Matumba Man. MSS did have the roar, but I mean the chakram was already out, so I mean maybe could have saved him, but I don't know. It's a hard call to make in the moment like that, as there certainly wasn't any chance of killing Matumba Man, and it is just the support going down.
Any worries about Miracle's farm can be thrown away as he finds a triple ancient stack to work on. Just kiting these around, making sure he doesn't get rooted or anything, and very straightforward for a TA to farm these ancient stacks. Well, not super straightforward. You've got to at least kite them around a little bit, but no reason you can't do that, as Miracle will get fast treads, and he is top of the net worth. It's one of those things where you can draft something like a Silencer and have a good laning matchup, and but that only lasts like 4 or 5 minutes. Once the TA decides to just go jungle, kind of like the Alchemist, like you can beat the Alch in lane CS-wise, but he's just going to fall back Iron Talon jungle. TA does the same thing, not with an Iron Talon, but it's the same concept where you just stack camps, you farm jungle very fast, efficiently, and you once give it by the 10-minute mark, you're suddenly on top of the net worth despite having that rough lane.
I mean, what is the plan ready for Envy? We saw with Envy Silence, they really wanted to try and make something happen, and they were unable to. I mean, he's up top. I mean, this is just one of those core heroes that it's very hard to justify sitting back and farming on it. Yes. You need to make sure that the power of it is felt in these early stages of the game.
They wouldn't do smoke moves like the first smoke with the Slaughter failed. It looks like he may look for a smoke with the Beastmaster now. Problem is he's been missing off the map for a long time. Like jungling with the Beastmaster here is nice bit of extra cash and all, but it's more time where Liquid's like, well, these two heroes are missing. Are they smoke ganking us? What are they doing? And I think more importantly, they saw them at the top lane grouped together. They had the ward there, yeah, great, NPD ward, but they also get vision of Beastmaster and Silencer at that top bounty rune, so they know fully well where those heroes are on the map. They also scout Beastmaster's smoke, so like, at that point you're saying like these heroes are here, they could go for a smoke, let's play cautiously.
Miracle, as mentioned, just continuing to farm. And it is, of course, going to be looking for the Desolator first this game rather than the Blink Dagger.
D-Ward's the Ancients. They were trying to just do whatever they can to slow down the Miracle farm, but sentries are there. They reopen access, and Liquid at this point with RP up could even make moves themselves.
Top lane talking about making moves once again. Matumba Man just picking up solo kills. I mean, both MSS and 1437 in this lane, but just seeming to be unable to control this Timbersaw that is absolutely getting out of control. It's going to be a very good Bloodstone timing at this rate. Mid lane, no messing for GH, just drops the RP, looking to finish off Envy. They'll get it. 1437 couldn't do enough to hold them back. Light Strike rate only prolongs the inevitable with that short stun.
Yeah, Matu's Timber, I'd say one of his best heroes, even though it's not the conventional carry. Something he's played a lot of and knows the full limits of this hero, and he's managed to recover just fine. We're not really, it doesn't really feel like a Slaughter Lifestealer game just yet. I mean, often this combo does take some time to come online, but And they are prioritizing the SVG blink. I like this switch up from MP. Give Lifesteal the jungle, give SVG a lane. You've got to get that blink infest bomb happening because things have not really gone the way they would have hoped for in the laning stage. Liquid have just read them like a book and prevented every movement from really achieving anything. Potential Beastmaster smoke coming. He is lurking around. Not gonna. Yeah, he's got it now in his items, so he can actually use it. But one of those things where the vision from Liquid is they see so much of the map. So even when you're going for these smoke ganks, if they see you not farming jungle, not farming lanes, they may be well aware of it.
I mean, already you can see Mind Control's position.
Yep.
He's keeping to the trees. He is almost certainly aware that this is going down, as you said, just because of how much they can see.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Miracle's farming deep in the enemy jungle. When you see no one farming up there, you're just like, well, they're not farming their map. That means they're invading our map. And NP may still, I mean, GH is still trying to get a bit greedy and see what farm he can get and hope that he can rely on Skewer to escape. So they still may find a pick, but it's a lot of time invested and they've got to get the pick.
Oh, and they can't get the roar in time. GH, yeah, immediately out.
That is a huge, huge loss for NP. So much time invested into these rotations. And so much time where they're not farming and Liquid continue to get a bit further ahead. Nowhere near as bad as last game by any means, but there's still got to be concerns from the NP camp that they're just not really achieved much. They have found Kuro, so that ward they left, I think Kuro just felt like they'd left the jungle. Like once that smoke gang fails, typically you're just like, all right, smoke gang failed, let's get out. So he's like, all right, let's walk in, perhaps drop a sentry, see if I can de-ward, but they were still in the neighborhood. That ward getting a kill for them, but Kuro probably knows it's warded there now.
Top lane as well. You saw GH come in. Was looking to get an RP onto Envy, but Envy just immediately with a global silence TP reaction.
Not really how you want to use your silence, but still, you gotta keep your cores alive at this point. Do what you gotta do.
But that Liquid may just get the tower here. Matuma pushing in, juking out the stun. GH is still in the neighborhood.
Been almost a kill if he lands that. He had Laguna Blade. 1437 was looking for the combo. And Kuro will come in with the sentry, finds the D-ward. Suspicions are proven true. Again, he's playing that selfless 5-position support. It really feels like a new look from Liquid, where normally GH has been creating space, kind of playing a bit more support-oriented, but the last few games, I mean, played Karinaga for one thing, but even since then, it's 2 Jungle Magnus games. GH has gone full greed mode in that 4 position.
Look at that as well, Kuroki, with that stolen spell.
Jeez. Okay.
I mean, how?
That's a freebie.
How do you steal that, God? That's just.
I mean, wasn't thinking. That's mostly what there is to that.
Global silence.
Sure, just once you TP your lane, just throw a spell on a creep. But it's one of those things like you come back to a lane after being at Fountain, you don't think about the last spell you use.
You don't think.
If you're in a fight or in a lane, you think about it. But after TPing out, you're not like thinking, oh, I just came back to lane and I'm farming. You're not thinking the last spell you used is global. So that kind of thing can happen. But yeah, that's a good tool to have for Liquid if they want to take some towers. And with a Deso TA, it's a free tier 1 mid, but there's the pick up bottom. A lot of Infest bombs are online now. This is where
Blink Dagger reveal.
They've got to just keep going every time there's a Lifesteal Infest, try and find something.
Kuroki will be roared up, and the MSS with the Necro books out. That will be a surefire kill. Global silence comes through, but of course no way that that's going to save his own life.
May as well throw it. You're going to lose it, but does take away that, so that's actually kind of nice to make sure they get the Rubik kill so that global silence steal doesn't get used elsewhere. But still, Liquid getting way more out of the map. Like, they got a tier 1 mid on their carries are getting a lot right now. Like Matu at top, Bloodstone up very early, is solo pushing a tower. GH may find himself getting caught out in a bad spot if he's not careful.
Top as well, Matuma Mans. Timber changes away. They did go for the Blink Crush, but not quite hitting the point as they were going in fairly blind. And Miracle, yeah, as you mentioned, just 100 gold, and the Blink Deso will be complete 16 minutes in.
Yeah, this silencer pick hasn't really worked out. Got to transition out of that strong laning stage into good objectives, or at least some rotations. At this point, it just feels like winning your lane for the first 5 minutes doesn't really amount to much when TA just free farms the jungle. That's where there was a bit of a disconnect with what the mid hero was set out to do and what the overall team game plan was this game.
And this build as well from Envy. So drums into Solar Crest, it looks like. Bottom lane though, we are seeing this combo from SVG and Aoi. These two have been keeping it very solid this game. Aoi's farm is up there on par with that of the cause of Liquid. Mid lane though, there's the power of the Blink Deso T8. 2 shots and the Lena's gone.
Still feels like the least important core hero to kill if you're NP. You'd rather, I mean, you can't kill a TA or a Timbersaw, perhaps you're thinking, but you take what kills you can get. But I think if you're Liquid, you're like, well, that's Weaver's job is kind of to be that sacrificial role in some ways. If anything, you'd almost rather he die than the Magnus at this point. Magnus is going kind of greedy. He's going to be getting a ton of farm, going with the Midas build, so.
Can Empty do something about this? Aoi's just going to head straight in. They are coming in at a good time. They've got the Global. They'll look towards Matu with the Roar and the Necro Books. They'll take down the Timbersaw. Can they get themselves anything more?
Roche is low. They're gonna steal this one.
Aoi's hanging around. I mean, GH still has this RP. You've got to be careful of this RP. MP, what can they do? Jump in from SVG. They'll look towards Miracle. They've got the chain stun. GH screws forward. Isn't going to blow the RP yet. Oh, now he does so. He doesn't catch anything. Miracle falling low, tries to turn, but he's gone. GH as well, and Aoi picked up the triple. They may not be done yet. Mind control. Time lapse is back. Matuma Man now looking for the cleanup in return. Has managed to chop down Aoi. Mind control and MV going head to head. MSS back towards the shrine, and it looks like the heal will be enough. There's actually going to be a buyback from SVG. They want to take down Matu, and they should get him. Is the regen going to be enough? It's not. They'll lose the Timbersaw. And in a very scrappy fight from both sides, MP ending up coming out on top as they head back into the pit. Mind Control's still alive, doesn't have time lapse. Can he go for any sort of play here? He's going to look for it. He's coming around the corner with the Shikuchi, but he's not going to head in. Dyer get the kill. MP, they're able to get themselves the Aegis onto Envy. It will be expended immediately by the looks of it here with Mind Control, GH and Kuroki looking to try and finish him down. But Tumberman coming across with the Timber Chain. Can MP protect him? Can they give him a second chance? It doesn't look like they can as Envy gets skewered back into the claws of Liquid. They'll lose the silencer. MP, Raw, onto Mind Control. Mind Control able to Shikuchi away. Jump forward from SVG though. Hits the crush and the curse ends up taking down Mind Control. MP are still on the retreat. MSS running himself away. Aoi gets chopped down by Matuma Man. Matuma Man looking to again for a second cleanup. He came in with the first one and he's coming in with a second. Brings down Lena. MSS on his way back to base. Matu. Can he go for any sort of big balls play? He wants to. He's up on the high ground, but his balls, they're going to get chopped off. No, they're not. The axes, they can't do it. It's not enough damage, and it's Matu pulling it off as he picks up the double, taking down SVG inside the base of MP, and he is out of there.
That is... I think Matu's just like, probably just like so... like fired up and enraged after those previous 2 deaths where he gets caught at the Roach pit, gets roared and brought down. He's like, I'm diving for these kills, no regardless of what happens. And boy, was he making the right call in doing so. Completely crushes them as he chases deep. Without the silencers for control, without the Beastmaster roll, there wasn't good answers for him. And it is Liquid who managed to find some retaliation kills after a poor Roche execution. It was well punished by MP, yeah.
So this is the initial appearance of MP around the pit, and absolutely just eliminating Matuma Man. It's great because we saw how much he does when he's alive.
He also didn't have TP when he respawned. It was like 20 seconds off. So he had that 10-second respawn, but didn't have the TP to abuse it.
Oh, let's cut straight back to the real game. There's Miracle, and the Beastmaster MSS had a bit of an altercation, and it involved MSS getting 2-shotted to the face.
Tough stuff, and yeah, this game is going to be a Guardian Greaves on Timbersaw. That is the answer to the Global Silence, and also probably the, in some ways, more annoying Arcane Curse. I like this. I've never... ooh, another kill coming out. They find GH. The Yule Scepter as a counter Global Silence is like nice and all, but it's not like an instant counter. You have to throw yourself up in the air, and you use yourself to get a Global. You're setting up stuff like a Slaughter Crush, a Lena Stun. I've never been like a huge fan of using Yules to counter Global Silence because if you're in the middle of a fight, it sometimes just screws yourself over. I like the Greaves approach here. It's also just going to be an item that kind of very team-oriented, allows him to dive even harder and faster. He's going to get extra HP regen, extra armor when he's low. It's like a nice little, a bit more expensive. I think that's the kind of the benefit of the Yules, is that's like the cheapest item to get a global. It's just not always the optimal one.
Yeah, 1437 with the classic. I'm going to go into the lane as a support and see what I can get. All he gets is a very, very fast, painful death.
Respawn time, you know, no big deal. He's already back. I'll tell you, power feed. Ready to go top again. 5 seconds time.
Miracle nearly with the Hurricane Pike complete. As the full one pretty much on its way. Recipe short. And we can see.
Scary. Envy's done a lot more hero damage than the TA.
That's
at this
true,
stage.
actually. There, 11.4k.
It's going to change for sure. A lot of that coming just from that curse in the team fights against like the Timbersaw. He had that curse on him for such a long time. Matu was really struggling to. I mean, he's spamming spells. He's probably just like, oh, that's what I do as a Timbersaw. Let's hope my regen can out-regen the curse damage, which wasn't always the case.
But very interesting as well with this build, of course, this Bloodstone into the mech where, you know, maybe with other Timbers you would have expected like a hood to be picked up in response, but Matu, thinking of the team and obviously getting the mech done first is going to be a bit quicker.
For the Greaves to get
to
as you
mentioned.
So I think it's less. You wouldn't get the mech if not for the upgrade. It'd be pretty. Not garbage, but it'd be a pretty questionable.
Would you imagine? Yeah, he's going to upgrade that before going anywhere else. Yeah,
he doesn't want a mech. He doesn't want a mech. He wants Greaves. That's really the main situation here. But Lotus Orb is the other option, I guess, which is at a similar price point to Greaves, which you could go for, but perhaps just decides that again, like you say, it is the more team-oriented item and opts for that instead.
I'll put him lane MP, looking to get a bit of pressure onto this tier 2. The wraparound will come through though from Liquid. GH, RP at the ready.
There's Gem on Beastmaster, but he may get jumped if he's not careful.
Who's going to be revealed first? Well, Matsuma Man will reveal the plan. TH straight in with the skewer, finds Aoi on the sideline. In fact, RPing up the Lifestealer, but they've lost Miracle. The controls there from MP. They're able to nuke him down. Matsuma Man in response will find Lina. MV turning up the fight with the curse, the glaives, bringing Matsuma Man down low. SVG comes in with a crush, cuts off Matsuma Man, and they've found themselves 2 massive kills. 2 cores out on the side of Liquid. MP get the tower.
Well positioned by NP there. Like the smoke pops and Liquid didn't see anyone. They had vision problems that fight. If they have vision to get a jump with like a Magnus for a blink skewer, or a TA just having a blink meld strike to instantly try and delete a hero, it's a very different fight for them. But when the smoke pops, they're completely blind. They don't see heroes. They don't know where to go. And the moment of kind of the couple of seconds of confusion allows Beastmaster to reposition. He roars, solo kills the TA, and deleting Miracle from the fight was key to success there for sure, but all of that came as a result of the vision advantage. Hard place to take the fight. Hard to kind of maintain any vision against this Beastmaster Gem, Necro 3, so.
Bottom lane, Envy. Ooh, looking to play around with GH, but he is able to blink out just before the first tick of damage hits him.
I really see like how much physical damage MP can do. See once again, yeah, Matu just chains in blindly to try and get vision for his team. Kind of felt like he just needed to, I mean, he's the front line, he's the one who wants to go running in, but he chained in, didn't find anybody, and as a result, I think Miracle just thought it's safe. So he's like, all right, Timber found no one, it's probably safe, let's just go myself, and he gets roared. But as it stands in Liquid, before that, it felt like they were kind of on track with a lot of their items, but they're getting melted by the physical damage. The Solar Crest really amps up even further the Lifestealer damage. Yeah.
I mean, ooh.
Jesus, guys.
That blink reaction.
He's fast. Very talented player and showing it there.
Yeah, he's got to be prepared for this. I mean, we'll see. If they get their hands on him, he is gone. The damage that Aoi and SVG can do. And well, mid lane, again, Miracle caught out. And as soon as they get that Roar, we're back up there. It's a free kill. And a Miracle, he's gone down twice in the last few minutes. And huge death timers, of course, with the lead he got in terms of levels and such, down for a full minute. This is absolutely massive for MP, finding the kills that they need. Aoi in a perfect spot as he's only just over 1,000 really behind the TA.
It's a good example of a game where it's like you can play incredibly well against a bad matchup, jungle super fast, find a ton of pickoffs, but those 2 deaths cripple your team a lot. They've allowed MP to take a lot of map control. Luckily, Roche isn't up at it. I mean, it can't be up for another 30, 40 seconds, but we're going to see NP, if they can keep finding those kind of pickoffs, use it to take more objectives.
I mean, it looks like they may just get GH again quick with the reaction. They don't have anything able to catch him out as they try and get in range for that Yules and such, but he's already gone. Envy, as we just saw, picking up the Midas. I mean, very Envy-esque silencer build, something a little bit different really. This drums, Solar Crest, Force, and now Midas pick up at 26 minutes.
Going back for it. It's one of those things where if you're a right-clicking hero, like the attack speed is it's not like a terrible item. Like it's not just a farming item. You do get attack speed, and if you're a silencer looking to do glaives damage, you still can get some extra physical DPS from the item while guaranteeing that you progress towards your late game talents. I think that's the big thing here. Sometimes it's hard to get towards that level 25 at a good time, but the Midas does help with that XP growth.
Both teams heading forward for a bit of a play there, but they catch out each other, and neither wanting to blindly initiate. MV.
They don't have Weaver with them at mid lane. Be bad if they get caught in a tough team fight here. The Lincoln Sphere could be a key tool to try and protect the TA with. Miracle's queued up a Linkers of his own, something which would have been a very handy item for those last 2 times he's died.
And GH, he's found Envy. There's the pickoff, drags him back. Is there going to be any sort of way the team can save him? The global silence is out. Isn't going to stop that physical damage flying through. And in return, though, MP may still find some trade. Huge nukes again. Miracle just getting absolutely blown up by this combination. They rip through the refraction, and 1437 every time. He is saving that Laguna Blade for the TA because there's just nothing that Liquid can do in response. Miracle's gone so quickly, and MP are able to get that momentum to move it on to more, picking up Kuro as well. And this is kind of fantastic. Roshan is just about to be back up. If they check it out and they pick it up whilst there's 3 members of Liquid dead, I think it's very safe to say that this is now MP's game to lose.
Yep. They're in there. Weaver Beatles. I'm not sure if they even saw Rosh at respawn, but either way, like with those 3 heroes dead, you're not contesting this Rosh anyway, so fantastic sequence of events for MP. They're doing such a good job of bursting Miracle fight after fight. 1437 with his positioning, always, like you say, saving the Laguna, making sure he even hitting a stun onto the TA as well. And Miracle's item progression has gone down the toilet. He's had this Hurricane Pike for, it feels like 5-6 minutes and not found any further developments, hasn't been able to get any value out of this Hurricane Pike. Probably reconsidering and wishing he went for a Lincoln Sphere instead of it. Obviously, it's easier to say in hindsight based on how he's died and how these fights have kind of developed, but right now Liquid are going to have to be playing defensive Dota. Use what vision they can get, which is going to be very limited, playing against the Beastmaster, playing against the Gem.
GH.
Yeah, a bit of them for now. Yeah. Oh, okay.
MSS. I mean, just look at the damage this does. It's absolutely incredible. MSS with that Necro book. Just alone, I mean, 1437 comes along for the casual kill secure. But level 3 Necro, it really is quite something.
Belina get the items and farm right now. Beastmaster's kind of at that point where
he
got Blink Necro 3.
He's got his tools.
Yeah. His role in this game is going to be fighting pickoffs, initiating. Lina as a hero can do quite a lot with farm this game. Transition into like a true core, or you can see 9k net worth. Aether Lens Yules has that long range initiation catch with the extra cast range on the Yules thanks to that, and Spell Amp talent. So we'll see 1437 be a very strong late game at level 20 already. He's almost the same level as Miracle's
insane,
TA.
Actually.
Yeah.
That is incredible leveling from this Lina.
So I think he's only level 19, but he's also been on the receiving end of a couple nasty ganks. Still, only died 3 times. You know, a strong game all across the board from Eternal Envy and his squad, and feels like they've really come together in the mid game, able to start finding a lot of clean, crisp pickoffs. Liquid just haven't seemed to be on the same page. You've got Mind Control often split pushing a lane, Miracle not just farming, but going too deep for kills where he's getting picked by Beastmaster, and it really has been MSS's Beastmaster that's found the key heroes and found the pickoffs the team has needed, more so than even SVG on the slider. Like, they found a couple Infest ganks on Weaver, but the key kills have been Miracle's TA, and that's where MSS has been instrumental. Matu chaining across to the high ground.
He will back up in response, but again, MSS immediately with the setup, just this mana burn for the Necro units, leaving Matuma Man very much in a whole world of pain as they rip him down. MP. I mean, they are just playing a step ahead of Liquid this game.
Yep. I mean, Liquid just gone full split push mode, like Matu just going onto the high ground there, trying to clear a creep wave and probably get out, but like you say, MP a step ahead, they were ready for it. They're already responding. So it's like kind of the Liquid game plan. Like, he gets picked top, immediately GH goes to shove out the bottom lane. Everyone else falls back and can use that kind of pseudo space from the Timber sort of farm, but you're losing Bloodstone charges. It really does hurt the Timber's progression quite a bit to die like that. So, and more kills going NP's way. Big thing is trying to just prevent NP from finding an opportunity where lanes are pushed enough that they can threaten high ground while they've got an Aegis, because the Beastmaster, Aura, Necro 3, Lifestealer with a Deso. Now looks like he's going to be building into an AC next. He's even got the Crystallis. He can break buildings very quickly with the Rage.
Let's see what the next target's going to be. I mean, MP, are they getting close to a point where you feel that they can go for a high ground push, or?
Yeah, I think they're ready now. That's
This
what
is
they're
the
grouping
time.
up at bottom. MSS doesn't have travels, though, so he's very far away. He may be on just pick-off duty. There's
Look at Owie. Just goes straight up with the Rage.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
And starts to work down this tier 3.
Courier mid that's about to get sniped. Not sure what it's doing there. Gets roared. MSS takes the free AFK Courier.
I did have the Lincoln Sphere recipe on, in fact, for GH, but I imagine, yeah, it was still an ultimate orb short anyway, so not too much of a worry.
Yeah, they really need to just reapply this Lincoln's constantly to Miracle. Okay.
Okay, Pike, yeah, bringing Owie down to less than half.
Lincoln's is still not guaranteed survival. You can easily break it with Yules, with Corrosive Haze, so just be a little bit careful. And you can Blink Crush him, so you can still stun him during the Lincolns to set things up.
And it's hard for MP, of course, constantly worried about the threat of the Magnus, and in fact, GH jumps in, but the global silence is there, and they've already lost Matuma Man. Down for 70, doesn't have buyback, they're moving in for more. They'll get GH. The rest of Liquid are forced back, and MP, just, who needs creeps when you got damage like this? They're fighting through the backdoor protection. Now the creeps will turn up, making it that little bit easier, a little bit sweeter for them as they clean out the bottom racks. And with 50 seconds without these two crucial heroes for high ground defense, MP can get much more done.
Luckily, there's tier 2 towers. Otherwise, that would have been a guaranteed double lane of racks. Aegis will expire. They still will likely. They actually may still
they're
get double
definitely
lane.
sticking around for this.
Yeah. Force a buyback. You're still feeling very strong. You've still got Raw, so you've got that control for TA, who does have Lincolns now.
Oh, Miracle has to be careful. He's been caught out. MSS will jump in as well, but the telekinesis in response immediately from Kuroki. They've taken down MSS, but Kuroki's lost his life. It's a double kill for Envy. They'll look towards the Weaver as well. The follow-through chainstone's there from 1437. Buybacks come out, but there's no Miracle for 70 seconds. Liquid, I mean, between game 1 and game 2.
Such a different team, you know. It's such a roller coaster team to follow and watch because they have such bipolar performances where you'll see an incredible MP draft and execution, then you'll see something that's overly theorycraft like we saw last game. But
let's see what they can get here. They're trying to punish MP. They need to find something. SVG's already out of there. May come back in to help Envy if required. As Envy is the one left on the front lines. Envy forces forward though, and with that, Liquid, they have to be a bit more tentative because they know that MP can turn.
Yep, they've got that Confess ready to go. He's got an AC complete now, so while they didn't get the racks, at least that's a small consolation prize for Liquid, not losing the double lane, but imagine MP will be ready to go for another fight fairly soon.
It's just brilliant play from MP. And it's always admirable to see a team in kind of a series come back from a very painful beatdown.
Lena's got a Bloodstone. This is like looking like a core lane. Bloodstone now with the respawn time. It won't be insta-respawn with minus 12 charges. It'll probably be like, he's level 23, so probably be like maybe 15, 20 second respawn time, I'd say, but it'll be very fast. And with Boots of Travel, it's like you die, you can very quickly get back into a fight. Fights are going to be drawn out a little bit at this stage of the game.
I mean, what's the answer for Liquid? It just seems, as you kind of mentioned earlier, it's just felt slightly broken, the team play, especially compared to what we saw from them in Game 1. The coordination just has not been on the same level that MP's managed to bring to the plate on Game 2.
Need some big team fight. RPs is probably the biggest thing they're lacking. Kuro needs to find some key spell steals too, like stealing a Roar or even like an AoE stun, like a Light Strike Array or a Slider Crush could turn things around. It feels like Liquid have just been waiting. They're not making moves. They're waiting for NP to come to them, and as a result, they're getting picked off time and time again. You can't play like a wait and farm kind of game against a team with such a huge amount of catch. You've got both the Slider Lifestealer duo as well as the Beastmaster finding pickoffs, and the greedy you try and play, the more kind of farm-centric you are, the more this kind of an NP draft can excel, because they'll just punish that greed with constant pickoffs, and that's been the case. And also just like the teamfight execution where Miracle's died twice in a row with Raw. If those Raw kills and Miracles don't happen, Liquid were looking fine before that. This game was going quite well for them. They had almost like, they had like a 6-7k gold lead at one point. Just the game kind of...
I mean, that kind of really steep turn.
Yeah, I mean, you can see all those green dots at the bottom, which are the Radiant kills and towers, quickly turned into very, very few kills. And I mean, Miracle's one of those players. He gets a lot of praise, one of the best players in the world. But I think you do point to him where he has made some mistakes this game, which have well and truly cost his team. Like his positioning, him getting caught in those roars. It's going to happen. Kudos to MSS for playing a good Beastmaster, but Miracle kind of fell prey to them. He got baited a couple times in, and that's really been Liquid's big downfall, was those 2 successive raw kills.
Mind Control continues to keep the split push up, working towards that butterfly. Evasion in the bag. 1437. Just heading across here. You do have MP as well, back in their own jungle.
MP's got a sheep stick now. He's very farmed.
This is very impressive. I mean, Envy as well, we said, it was always going to be hard potentially for a Silencer to keep up with the farm rate of someone like a TA or even like Aoi, of course, on his own team, the lifestealer. But Envy's certainly done it with this build, with this Midas pickup. And with the objectives and involvement he's had in these team fights, it's been incredibly fruitful for him. Liquid, with this smoke, and it's getting to the point where Liquid have to make something happen with this. They're down a set of racks. They can't afford to lose heroes with no buybacks being available. It's around this key time as well. Roshan's going to be back up. This Roshan could mean everything for both sides this game.
I feel like this is Liquid trying to put their fate in their own hands rather than, as I said, wait for NP to come to them, as has happened a lot of this game. They want to be go-getters. They want to
look at the speed Envy takes this down here with the built-up damage on the glaives. I mean, it's gone. That's
no traps in the pit. They put a trap trying to protect their jungle a bit, and Miracle just was a bit too far away. He's also been spotted.
Oh, Miracle.
SVG charging forward.
And he's going to get the catch as well. In there with the crush. MSS jumps forward, gets the Necro units out. The change does there. Is there anything that the team can do to save Miracle? There's not. He's out. This time round, he does have money for buyback, and he's almost certainly going to need it if he wishes to try and hold on against MP, as they're ready to come roaring down the middle lane onto the racks. Buyback comes out from the TA. But what can they do to stop this? The Necro units, the Beast, Ballmaster, it's all in there.
Already got the racks. I mean, his tier 1 tower at top is the crazy thing right now. But they want to get that Mega Creeps, they'll have to head towards that top lane. And that's the lines being drawn. 1437 says, let's push out this top lane. And with how much farm he's got and how well he's done, I think he's kind of in a point where he can start making the calls. He's going to be perhaps the first hero to hit level 25 right now. Maybe TA Miracle can beat him there, but this is a absurdly farmed Lina.
It's been insane. I mean, we kind of questioned where it was going to be played in the draft. We thought it was not really an MV hero, but certainly proving to be 1437 as hero. He has had an absolutely miraculous game, and definitely, as you mentioned earlier, those kills on Miracle would not have happened really if it was a lot of other heroes. They needed that huge damage nuke to come through when the refraction was down, and Lina absolutely fits the bill. Top lane, Aoi ready to go onto Kuroki, forced back. Aoi is fended away by the damage coming out from Miracle, so they will keep Kuro alive. But again, the power of MP is getting to be very scary, and there we have as well a complete Shiva's Guard, I believe, out onto 1437. I believe going his way.
Brave positioning from Liquid, poising as if they want to defend their outer towers. Down 3 racks so far, 2 melee racks at that. They not going to use their high ground to defend. I feel like they may fall back here, fight around the shrines, fight around the high ground advantage, and also just push out mid and bottom lane, because those lanes are starting to approach a dangerous position. Yeah, they will just let that tier 2 tower go.
It's really getting to the point where they need to hit a massive RP.
Yep, that's the saving grace here. They've got to be the GHRP, landing on multiple cores, but they can just siege with AUI, have him only here on the front lines if they want.
Oh, and on the sidelines as well, Kuro's being caught out. They will have the telekinesis to hold MSS in place for a little bit, but again, the burst coming through as they bring down the Weaver, but Tumor Manitrol as well. GH does get a beautiful RP, but the follow-up damage is just not going to be there. Envy picks up a double kill, triple buyback coming out from the side of Liquid, but they've lost Miracle. He's down for 2 minutes. 1437 has to kill himself. Aoi moving in for more. Envy just on the back lines, ripping through Mind Control, who's trying to toy with the supports of MP. It just isn't going to happen as Liquid are falling apart here in Game 2, and NP came back with incredible force after what was nothing less than just a disappointing performance in Game 1 against Liquid. And Liquid absolutely shaken up there by that showing from MP.
Yeah, they fixed a lot of their drafting laning issues. They had a much more dominant laning stage, and mid-game wise, it still wasn't like a one game from the lanes by NP by any means. They just made some really nice moves. I like how they prioritized getting SVG as Blink. It felt like he didn't really achieve much slowing down Miracle's jungle. Miracle was top of the net worth 10 minutes in. SVG was struggling to kind of find a place for himself, but then he just got a lane, found a Blink, and then boom. Infest gank after Infest gank, Beastmaster had his Necrobook, had his Blink, was just going for getting solo kills all around the map. So it feels like NP just had a clear plan just to control that mid game, use the vision advantage they had, and it was a nice comeback after such a demoralizing game one loss. That's a great way to bounce back, even though it's a draw and you don't maybe get the points you need to get into that top two. Just moving forward in this event, that's what NP needed.
It really is. And again, MP proving to be that entertaining team. We saw them pull out a lot of variety in their strats today, ending with that silencer performance that it worked out. In a game where certainly there was that point, and I'm sure the viewers would agree as well, where Miracle was looking scary. This TA was getting out of control, but suddenly he just hit a brick wall. And as we kind of mentioned in the game as well, 1437's Lina, one of the most impressive Linas I feel we've seen played in the support capacity for sure this tournament.
Yeah, it's just crazy how much farm MP got all across the board and how well the whole team kind of did what they needed to do come mid-game time. And yeah, Miracle never really was able to use his farm all too well. Yeah, just completely shut down.
Well, with that is it for the last game of the day. Don't go anywhere though, as we'll be able to head back to you, Paul, and just to hear from you guys what you felt about that. I mean, it's got to feel so good for MP coming back after a disastrous game one. It was great.
Indeed it has. Thank you very much to Owen and to Gods. We'll see them again, of course, on day 3. Thank you very much for your commentary, gents. And it is a victory for MP, which means it ties it up at 1-1. It also means the incredible statistic, gents, that they've not lost a series yet at DAC.
NP?
Yeah.
There's just lots of 1-1s.
3 1-1s and a win.
That's not bad.
I think that's great. I mean, it leaves them in second place right now, so destiny is in their own hands going into final game tomorrow. That's not a scenario I think we would have expected to see from MP, was it?
No, not really.
Do we know who their last game is against?
I don't have that information, but we will show it at the end of the program, so we'll show you the schedule. But right now, let's take a look back at some of the highlights.
Cool.
From the game with Liquid. Where did it go wrong for Liquid, Peter?
In the mid game, we talked about even in like our, when we were talking about the draft, is if whether or not they can save someone from that Beastmaster roar. Whether it's a bunch of Force Staffs or a Lotus Orb or something needs to be done because somebody's going to get roared and then there's going to be a global silence, and how are they going to save that person? And we have this TA on top of the network. There was Ancient Stacks. They really enabled Miracle. It looked like he was going to take over, but all of that network doesn't mean anything if you die in roar and global silence. So MSS and NP did a great job of isolating Miracle and focusing him down. And after TA died, they were just really lacking damage.
I really felt good about the silencer pick. I've seen this matchup once before just because it counters refraction in lane. But in the last time that I saw it, the TA just jungled like Miracle did this game. And he got super far ahead and it just didn't matter. The silencer fell off. But Envy's build, I think, really solved a lot of the problems on the hero. The Solar Crest pickup solves his physical survivability problem. Even though it doesn't super stack with glaives, I think it was a really good item solution that gave him what he needed. Like the silencer pick just really made all their fights so easy because there was no Timber Cell follow-up. If GH wanted to do an RP, he would always have to wait at least 4 to 5 seconds to even look to do an RP, and at that point somebody was probably dead. So it was like his game was more difficult. Weaver couldn't use Sakuchi to follow up. It's like everything was just harder for Liquid because of the global silence, and there were so many early fights as well that the game didn't stagnate enough for them to get those items that make it easy to counter it.
This is another game where we see Magnus kind of being like one of the only initiators on a team and just really struggling to find that initiation. I feel like there's a couple fights, like this fight for example too, it's like Miracle has like a Blink Dagger and everything, but he just gets roared and killed, right? Like there's nothing, they're all silenced now, there's nothing they can do. And he's like super farmed at this point. He's like the highest net worth hero by 3 or 4k gold and 0 impact. So if he, if they had someone else to initiate the fight and he could blink in and follow up with the death, so they could probably burst someone down and kill someone. Yeah. But I think they had like the vision with the traps and stuff, so ideally they would have it. I guess NP had more vision with the Hawk and Beastmaster, but just a really tough fight for them to initiate and find fights. There's Magnus going down again without getting RP off in a team fight. So
I feel like MSS played this game flawlessly because a couple of those fights, if he just hesitated slightly, would have been completely different. But he consistently
has the best
Necro.
He's the best Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Best Beastmaster. It was in Dota, I think.
It was really good. Constantly finding picks. roaring the important heroes, always finding the important heroes, and getting good kills.
Yeah, makes it tough for the MVP, I guess.
I
Who
mean,
do you pick out?
I definitely pick MSS this game.
Yeah.
I think everybody on NP played well. I think SVG had a little bit of iffy laning stage, but this is not the first time that I've seen his initiation be like perfect on Slar. I really like it when he plays Slar versus something like Elder Titan.
Lena's also turning into like a top tier pick this tournament, which is kind of the big surprise to me. I didn't really see it coming, but I mean it makes sense why it's so good.
Yeah, this was a super farm to support Lena.
Yeah, he died a lot early, I think, maybe more than he needed to, but he definitely got insane farm, good levels, stuff like that.
Good performance overall. It keeps MP in with a shout, as I said earlier. It means that they are technically the destiny is in their own hands, because if they win tomorrow, they finish second.
NP's ahead now, right?
Yeah,
NP's
they moved to
second.
6 points and they moved to second in that league, so they can still
Good for
finish
them.
first as well. But that would require EG to beat IG.
Top
tomorrow.
6 would be really cool for them.
Yeah.
I'd be happy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it guarantees in top 6 as well, which is if they win one
That's what I'm saying,
series
yeah.
tomorrow. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's tough because they could get through tomorrow on like a lot of scenarios, whether even if they go 1-1,
Absolutely.
or
Yep.
even if they don't
Even if
win
they
at all.
lose,
Yeah,
they
even if
could
they
still
lose
go
at all,
through,
they still have an opportunity
Yeah.
to get through. So
Yeah. Rely on a few other results tomorrow. EG play IG, by the way, tomorrow in one of those games.
yeah. That's the bit.
That's the big one, because
that's the big
that
game.
will help decide where other people might be able to fit in.
And IG has proven themselves to arguably be the best team in the group, at
Yep.
least through day 2.
Yep, they have 8 points right now, top of that group. So, yeah. Why don't we take a look at the standings right now and update you as to where we are, because it is the end of day 2. We have one more day of matches to come. Each team has just one more series to play, 2 more games, and they're going to make all the difference in both groups, although less so in Group A, because 2 things are absolutely for sure. First off, OG are not only the qualified team in the top 2 positions, they are the champions of Group A and will play in the upper bracket as the highest seeded team. They have 12 points out of a possible 12, the only 100% record at DAC in the 2 days we've had. The other thing that's absolutely for sure is that Faceless will be playing in the lower half of the bracket, because they only have 2 points right now and only have 1 more match to play. Wings in second have 6. Empire still in with a shout if they can overturn that deficit. They have 4. LFY also in with a shout at 4. And VGJ, they do have a chance. They're playing right now against Empire, so that we have to wait and see what that pans out, because if they win their game, then they've still got a chance. If they take a point, they've still got a chance. It's all very close, but it's no closer than this group. This group is the closest group by far. It's going to take a miracle, pardon the pun, for Liquid to qualify in the top 2, because they are 3 points adrift of MP. They would need just a point, and that would stop Liquid being able to qualify. Liquid have to win both their games tomorrow in order to have any chance whatsoever, and hope that other results go their way. In other words, MP lose, EG lose, and Newbie don't take more than a point. I think that's very unlikely tomorrow for Liquid, but we'll see. Right now, IG are top of the table. They have 8 points. They'll play EG tomorrow, who lie in third right now. But EG's victory would assure them a place in the next round, or at least a playoff game if MP manage to win both of their series. So
I think it's
very difficult to figure out who's going to go through.
I think it's impossible for EG to get, or Liquid to get top 2.
No, they can still get. They've got 3 points, so they could get 6.
Yeah, but
so they would tie.
But
with
some
MP.
of those other teams have to win, though, right?
Yeah. No, well, technically.
Well, the thing is, if NP goes 1-1.
Yeah,
then
if MP goes
they
1-1, then
NP
Liquid
goes,
are done.
But if NP goes 0-2,
then Liquid
somebody
can tie.
somebody else is getting 3 points.
Yeah.
Yes, but it depends on where they would finish as well.
But they're already 1 point. They're already 1 point ahead of Liquid. So
I feel like
whichever
yeah.
team.
This is where this is where we have
I feel
to
like
do
I'm
the
right here.
I think you might
right.
be right. Yes,
But
this is why we have to do the permutations in the morning. So
Sure.
we'll figure it out.
every team has more points than Liquid.
That's
Therefore,
part of the fun.
somebody is going to get 3 if NP gets O2'd.
Potentially, the 2 teams above them could get 1. That's the difference.
No, I'm saying, but one of those teams has to get 3.
NP has to go 0-2,
Or NP,
which
yeah.
means somebody else is getting 3 points. That's not Liquid.
That's true.
And they already have more than Liquid.
It's not
Oh,
IG.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Actually, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
So
we're right.
Liquid's going
Yeah.
lower bracket, but they
Yeah.
could get 3rd seed, 4th seed.
Yeah.
Unless
depending
it's
on
the
the
top,
results.
unless it's the top ranked team. That's the only way that it wouldn't.
But they can't.
Yeah,
but
but
they can't go.
IG is playing
IG is already
EG.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is IG the one that plays MP tomorrow? That's
No,
the
they
only
play
way
No,
that it-
EG,
They
IG
play
is tomorrow.
EG.
Okay.
which is why-
So yeah, there's
yeah.
no way Liquid makes it
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
for top bracket.
Good. See, maths with Dota 2
Yeah.
professionals, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much, Purge, as well. Let's take a look at the schedule for tomorrow. We have 6 matches, of course, across 2 different streams. 3 matches remaining. 1 match each for the teams available in Group A and Group B. On PGL Dota Mainstream, we'll have EG versus IG. Big game for both teams. The winner is guaranteed a spot in the top half of the bracket. OG will take on VGJ. We still don't know whether they're in with a shout of getting through because we're waiting for their result to finish. And Newbie versus Team NP, not MP, as it says there, NP. They're not a bunch of politicians, they're a bunch of theory crafters. They'll be taking on Newbie in the final game at around about 2 o'clock in Group B. Over on PGL 2, we'll have LFY versus Faceless. Faceless can't go through, but LFY can, so they'll be fighting for both points in that particular game. Vitality will take on Team Liquid, as we've just worked out mathematically can't qualify in the top 2, but they'll still be trying to find out which seed they get, so they'll want to try and finish as high as they possibly can by winning that one. And the final game in that group will be Wings versus Team Empire. Empire still in with a very good chance of making the top 2. Yep. We'll also have the tiebreakers if we need them. They'll be there at 4 o'clock as well. And we've also got tomorrow, drum roll, that was a bad drum roll, 1v1s, quarterfinals tomorrow.
The table is really far out. I'm not going to drum on it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a long way away and it's late. But we've got the 1v1s. Excited? Do you like 1v1s, Peter? Are they gimmicky?
I think if they keep it like standard SF versus SF, which I think is the plan.
It is until the final.
What's the final?
Best of 3.
Okay.
Where the first game is SF. The loser then gets to pick the hero for the second game.
We should just do Lena for the sake of this tournament. That's like not a bad 1v1, I think.
Shakira
that would actually be interesting. Like get them both to level 10 so that one dies, the other one starts pushing, and the guy TP's back right away. Maybe that's irrelevant, but
yeah,
they definitely go light strike damage. Surely.
So I'm sort of like semi-biased towards Sumail getting to the final, losing the first game, and then changing it to Storm Spirit.
Well, it's fun because I think a lot of times for these kind of for fun, a lot of times for these like for fun modes, a lot of the top players kind of bow out.
Sure.
Whereas like a lot of like the, not like, just like not like the top tier players are playing, but this time like there's some like really.
Yeah, and you get a day off afterwards anyway, so there's nothing to lose for the players. They're just here for a bit of fun. There is a part of me that thinks these players are so competitive that they'll want to win every game anyway.
They'll definitely try their best to win.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get players to take it seriously. So it's nice to see like the biggest names playing in the tournament.
Absolutely.
So it'll be fun.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. Thank you very much to both of you. It has been a very long day again here at Day 2, so thank you very much for tuning in. If you stayed with us all through the day, you've enjoyed 6 fantastic matches of varying degrees and a really different set of drafts all day long. And Day 3 will be no different at all, except for the fact we will find out which 4 teams qualify for the upper bracket and which of the 8 drop down and only have 1 life left. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for Day 3 of the Dota 2 Asia Championships.